Hey guys, how are y'all today? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me and see me. I see that there are a few of you out there. Good morning, excuse me, good afternoon. Y'all don't know. I don't know where I'm at this week. Hey Kelly, hey Betty. Hope everybody's doing well and you had a great last week and you're looking forward to your Mother's Day this weekend. I don't know what my little girl's going to do for me, but doubtful anything. So good to see you. There weren't a lot of questions today. One of them was how to use the decorative fills in PEDESIGN. I'll show that. The other one was how to bring an SVG file into Canvas Workspace to turn into an applique in PEDESIGN. You don't actually have to go that route. I can show you, but you don't have to go that route. Well, good. I see everybody's rolling in. Good. And thanks for letting me know you can hear me very clearly. I do appreciate that. And oh, Sandra, get to feeling better. I hate it when that happens. Nothing worse than spring summery cold. Ugh. But okay. So let me see, first of all, if we can find an SVG file. I've been working on a project for Brother. So I've been playing with the Artspira auto digitizing today. And so I've been working on that project and using their cross stitch function and that kind of stuff. So I've been kind of tied up with that and didn't get on this. So let me see. Let's go see what we have and let's share my screen. I'm sure I have something. I'm in Creative Fabrica. By the way, I'll post this up, but they are having their sale this week. I do believe it's a Mother's Day sale. So you can get a year's worth for $47, which is kind of cool. Let's see here. Let's go with pickleball. Let's see here. Anything exciting? We'll try this one. Oh, that's a PDF, PNG. Sorry, I don't want a PNG. We want a SVG. So let's go back and try that again. Oh. If I don't see anything here, then I will go to my computer and see what I've got. Looks like there's some here. Okay, so I'll download this one. Now let's go extract that. For those of y'all that don't know how to extract a file, we'll go ahead and go to my downloads because that's where I have mine going default wise. And we will right mouse click on it and say extract all. And then hit the extract button and it'll do its thing. Okay, so here's my file. So let me go into let's go to, I'll show you how to do it here in Canvas Workspace, but honestly, you don't need to do it here. You click the SVG button if you're wanting to do that, and then go to downloads and pickleball SVG, pickleball, and let's see what our SVGs look like. So I want to see what our images are. Oh, it's not going to let me see that in an SVG format. Bummer. Okay. Well, here's the way, here's a trick. When you download these from there, if you hit the PDF file, no, of course not. Let's see what this is. PNGs will tell me what we've got. So let's say we want the Artboard 7. So that tells me what I need. Artboard 7. So here's my pickleball file. Oops, it's separated. So that's not a good example. So let me just file new. Let's see what I've got on my computer because I'm not finding something that's there that's that great. So let's see here. Facebook Live's mine. Let's do here. Of course not. Here we go. Okay. Let's see what the rabbit SVG. Here we go. This is a rabbit SVG. So to basically separate him, all I have to do is go into my layers menu and pull them apart. So if it's grouped, you would ungroup it, but if not, you can simply pull the pieces apart. Having said that, in PEDESIGN, you do not need to do that. Okay. Once you've got it separated, you can go File, Export FCM file. Okay. But in PEDESIGN 11 and 10, you do not need to do this. If you go to Import Patterns and choose from Vector Image, we can go into that same file. And let's see here. Here's that rabbit. I can open it up. And now it is there, all of it in stitches. So if I right mouse click on it and ungroup, I can then select the part that I want to turn into applique. Choose what kind of tack down stitch you want. Choose your width of your applique. And click OK. Same thing for the next part. So if you want to do both of the eyes as appliques, you could do that. If you wanted the nose as an applique, or actually I would do this part, applique wizard. And you want to choose replace instead of add. Add's going to add it around the outside edge. Replace is going to replace it. We'll click OK. There's your applique. Now these parts I could simply turn into stitches. So if I go to my shapes tab and here change it from not sewn to a fill stitch, I could change that to black. Let's find that nose piece. Here we go. And I would change the outline to black as well. And then if I want this to be white, I can change the color, turn it on. I think I would go with a satin stitch for that part. And we can change that to white and change the outline to white, or actually, I probably would turn my outline off on that one. But then I would set my whole sewing or remove overlap. So if I want this to be right along that edge, I would probably choose remove overlaps. So here and here, select it, go to your Home tab, modify overlap, remove overlap. And then it's not going to have an overlap. If we hide let's hide the stitches for this for a second so you can see it's made that hole in there so we don't have to worry about it. Oh, actually, I wanted that a satin stitch, didn't I? But you could do the same thing for the eyes as well. Okay. But with PEDESIGN 11, you do not need to go in there and do that other part. So if I undo all of this, now y'all, I did a light zigzag stitch on the last applique I did. That's why mine looks so lightweight, because I had lightened up my zigzag. The biggest key is that you need to ungroup it first. If you ungroup it first, then you'll be good. So yeah, I had taken my density way, way down. So if I want my density to be normal, it's about 4.5 to 5.0 millimeters. So there you go. That would be kind of normal. Now you can see it grouped that applique because it's got the 4 different parts to it. Your placement, your applique material, your tack down, and your covering stitch. Usually I make these two the same color. So let's say I wanted that to be yellow or a tan. There we go. And then I tend to show by color order so that I'm not trying, so that I have a whole lot of pieces to work with. But that's the easiest way I can tell you. Now, if it has color in it, let's say I import patterns from Vector Image. Let's go into ones that are in PEDESIGN. There are actually some in PEDESIGN. If I go to Program Files, x86, and Brother, and go down here to PEDESIGN 11, and look in my clip art, Vector images are right there. So here are my SVGs. So there's a green flower, there's a grape. Green flower would be a good one to show. I just click it and open it, and then I can right mouse click and ungroup it. So from there, I can grab the flower, choose the applique wizard. And if you're planning on depending on what you're doing. So you notice that there's a hole right here. So if you wanted that to be part of applique, if you didn't want this a solid piece of fabric underneath there, you would create an applique with hole sewing. Let me show you the two different ways this works. So if I click that, you'll notice how it gives me an applique on both sides. Let's hide this. So you get the applique both sides. And if you look at it in stitch view, it has turned those stitches to where the cutting stitch is facing. So here it's on the outside edge of the outer edge, and here it's on the outside edge of the inner edge. That's because when you cut it out, you want it to be able to grab the edges correctly. So you want that cut file closer to your edge than into your center. And that's how that does it if you're using a digital cutting machine. So that's what I would tell you. Now, the other way, if you didn't do it that way, we had our applique wizard, and wait a minute, let me click that. Let's do the applique wizard. If I take off the create an applique with hole sewing and click OK, you'll notice it does not do that little stitch placement, because when that SVG file came out, it was already created to where the holes were created so you wouldn't have overlapping stitches. That's why you actually saw that part. If those holes had not been created, and if you don't see those, that means your zoom, you have hide object not stitched. So I always leave that showing just so I can see what is actually not stitched, unless it's getting in my way for any reason. So I would have to say, for me, I like to see them. Okay. Any questions on that? And that was Cindy West's question, I do believe. Okay, so for those of you that are not in the group Education Connection, I have released a new collection as of last night. So you all are the second ones to get access to it. And there is a code. Let me pop a banner up here. And let's see here. Where is that code? Here we go. This is your percentage off. It's 15% off any collection. And here is the new collection. So let me see if I can find a picture of it. And you should find it on my homepage. Give it just a second to open up here. So this is the new collection. Let me zoom in for you so you can see what we've got going on. This is what I ended up settling in on. This is the Sewing and Crafting collection. And there are 10 decorative fills and there are 12 motifs. Okay. I ended up dropping the seam ripper and the straight sewing machines. They may make it to another collection, or they may just be something I use in class. So that's what those are. That's what those look like. That's what you're going to look for on the website. This is the Sewing and Crafting collection. Any questions on that? So let me see here. Let's see here. I have no idea what red fingered number 1 is. You can't like my page, it won't come up. You need info on phones. You have to give me a little bit more information on that one. So I'm actually, thank you, Lois. I'm actually very excited about this collection. I can't wait to see what y'all do with them. I think they're going to be a blast to play with. I have a project in mind. If I get a chance within the next week or so, I am going to just take a piece of solid fabric and I'm going to do little squares all over it with the different fills. And then I'm going to turn that into a bag that I carry. So that is my favorite thing. My bag that I normally carry with me on the plane is about worn out. The zipper fell off the last trip. So it is time for a new bag. And so that's what I think I'm going to do with it. I'm going to do just decorative fills all over it. And I'm going to use the sewing and crafting collection. And I can't decide if I want to add stitching to them or if I want to color them. I'm thinking I want to color them in with Sucanico inks or with my pencils. May do the pencils because I haven't played with that lately. But we'll see. But that is my plan. Although I've also thought about getting just solid black fabric and then do those decorative fills in a solid color like red. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Betty. I had no clue what we were talking about. You had lost me on that one. Evidently, I'm not in the know. So I was in Louisiana this weekend, and I was driving, and there's this big poster, big billboard that says IFYKYK. And I'm like, what in the world? If you know, you know. Well, evidently I didn't know. So, yeah, it is fixable. So let me see here. Hold on. I do believe it's fixable. I will not swear to that on a stack, but I do believe it is fixable. So give me just a second. Let me minimize some stuff here. And where's my reflector? So basically it is picking up on whatever size the picture is that you used. So let me allow this. And why is it? Okay, wait, no. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I have not taken a picture of a piece of fabric, but I will do that right now. So hang tight for just a second. Now keep in mind I'm gonna take a picture of a piece of fabric I just printed, but it'll give you the same concept. Camera up, and I'll take my picture. Okay. Oh Lord, I just showed y'all my whole mess. You get to see my messy desk and all. Oh goodness. Thank gosh, that went very fast. Okay. So let me go to my photos first, and we'll grab that photo and we will crop it out. So let's edit my photo and let's crop that photo. I'm going to get it to where I have a place that's not shadowed, and we'll say done. Okay, so now in Artspira, if I do new and do printing, I can do design editor and choose how big of a thing you're going to do. So let's say I just want to do, actually, let's do a custom size and go ahead and create it at like 20 inches. And we'll say create. So now, depending on how I choose to do this, if I touch the icon that looks like this is going to turn that fabric into a background. So if I go to image and then go to the one I just did, which is this guy right here, that's going to blow it up. Okay, so that's going to enlarge it to fit whatever space I selected. So I'm going to undo that. If I bring it in as an image file instead, if I touch recents, here we go, there's my image file. Now this way, it should be true to the size that I took the picture of, but it may not necessarily repeat the way you want it. So you would have to bring it in multiple times because you can't, I mean, you'd have to size it to the size image you took otherwise. But this is how you would sit there and kind of make it work. You can also make it smaller, make it bigger, but the bigger you make it, the more it's going to blow that fabric up. And you can always go back into size and, oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to go to move and I want to do reset to 0. And what size is this one? .75. So this is should be 3.75. But you have to bring it in each and every time. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. But this is going to be your true to size image instead of blowing it up like a big old house. There we go. Now, what you could do is kind of try to rotate until you get perhaps the repeat correct. Oh, shoot, undo. I was trying to zoom in. So I don't like how that repeat is. I might rotate this guy to see if I can't get him to where it would actually do a repeat. So I might be able to do something like this and play with it, because it's not going to, I mean, you would just kind of overlap them until you get them right. But that's pretty close to what it would be if I were trying to get a repeat. And you can just kind of tap and move. And it's not going to, oh, that's actually a green center. So hold on, let's see if I can, a white center. Let's see if I can find a yellow center. Let's move and rotate that one to the left. But I liked the other one better. So just kind of, I mean, you have to crop it to where you think you can get a repeat and futz with it till you get the one you want. Rotate, move, rotate, left. This one right here, I think, is my best option, right like that. And I would continue along that path. Okay. Mirror image might work. Let's see. Move, flip. And then I needed to rotate that back again. Oh, shoot. Undo, undo. Undo is a girl's best friend, just so y'all know that. That's the one I want right there. But let's see if we flip it. Not size, move, flip, mirror. No, mirror's not my friend in that one. Rotate was better. But you get the concept, right? So, and that is not nice. You're not supposed to go check out my mess. And I do have a serious mess here for right now, I will have to say. And you know, we're all learning to play within the boundaries of what Artspira allows us to do, but that would be one of the things that I would try, is try to match it up that way. If you can crop it to where you can get a repeat, that is going to be your best option. That way you're not having to futz with it as much as I was. And usually you can do that because the fabric that you have purchased usually has a good repeat. And if you can take a picture of that where you can crop it, you can actually get your repeat to line up. So yeah, I have a screen monitor here and I have a screen monitor here, and they're both pretty big. One I look directly at you at, and the other one is over here that I work on the different programs at. So that's what I do. DJ, I use Creative Fabrica, and I create a lot of my own. Creative Fabrica has a ton of stuff out there that you can use for printing, you can use for embroidery, you can use for sublimation. So you can have fun all day digging in there. I think I have my Creative Fabrica account up over here. Let's see. So let's say you wanted a tumbler. So if you were doing sublimation and you wanted a tumbler bundle, here you go. There's all kinds of them in here. I made my own from this, but this gives you, here's a 3D butterfly one. But so that is basically made for a 20-ounce tumbler. So, I mean, that's a great spot. This is a great spot to go. And I do have an affiliate link there. All of their stuff is for commercial use, which is really nice. Here is my Creative Fabrica. And let me see here for just a second. Let me edit that and I'll put it in the comments and show it back again. So, and you can import those in. So that's kind of one of those things that, depending on what you want to do, but that is my affiliate link for that. And it does everything in here, once you've got your subscription, is allowed for commercial use. And they've got a variety of stuff, including embroidery. They've got knitting. So if you go to needlework, embroidery, you can come and play holidays and celebrations. Let's say we want to see what what they have for Mother's Day. There you go. But these are kind of nice to be able to play with, and they're part of your subscription. Oh, that one's cute. That one's quite cute. I like that one if I were doing that. So, all right, guys, let's go to decorative fills. So let me turn off that banner that I have there. And once again, give you this is your percentage off. It's 15 off MD. MD stands for Mother's Day, if you forget. All right, so if we're using decorative fills in PEDESIGN, it's used like any other fill. Draw your shape. And then pick your color. And then from the drop-down menu, you choose Decorative Fill Stitch. Okay. Then you go to Sewing Attributes, and then you click on either the big thumbnail here. So you either pick there or you pick the file folder. Either one of them will work for you. And then you select where you want to bring your decorative fill in from. So if you have downloaded my decorative fills and you did not put them in your PEDESIGN folder, you'll find them wherever you unzipped them to. I usually put mine in different places. So you can see mine's under Sewing Decorative Fills here. So here's the decorative fills. Click OK, and then you can come pick one. Then it can be, if you choose Maintain Aspect Ratio, you can increase or decrease your size. Let's say I want that one to go down to 50%. Hold on a second, guys. I got to turn my thermostat down. I am roasting here. It got warm because of my lights in here. Okay. So you can adjust the size. You can also adjust the position where it starts by using your select point tool. You can adjust the positioning on it till you get it the way you think you want it. So if I want her head to be right underneath that the center of that heart, I can certainly make that happen. Now, in PEDESIGN, if you turn off minimize feed, you lose your outline, but you're going to have a trim at every end. There is no way around that unless you turn on minimize feed. If you turn on minimize feed, you don't necessarily need another outline on it. Okay, this is what it looks like when stitched out. When you want to go to another one, if I want to go back to the ones that are in the software, I click back on the decorative fills, go to my file folder, and you are going to find those under your computer. And where's that? C drive. This PC, C drive. Program files, x86. Brother, PEDESIGN 11. 11 is the only version that has them. Patterns. Touch OK. These are the decorative fills that are built into the program itself. And it works the same way. So if you want to reduce the size or increase it, you can reduce it as much as you want and increase pretty much. So let's see here. Let's see if I go down to 25%, 25 millimeters. And you can increase that size. Let's say I want that to go to 200. So, I mean, it's up to you as to how you go about it and what you want to do. Let me go back to one of the ones that I'm using. One of mine. So let me close that and let's go to my drive and we will find the sewing decorative fills. Where are those? Sewing and crafting. Here's the decorative fills. And we'll click OK. Well, what did I do wrong there? Evidently, I clicked cancel. Fiddle-dee-dee. There you go. Pick one and click OK. Now, some fun things that we have discovered, this is thanks to Sandra, is that we can also fill our decorative fills. And this is not in your video, but it is in a video that we've done here. So let me say I go 50%. Let's say I want those sewing machines filled in. If I touch background fill, I can come and tap inside the sewing machines. And I can turn those into another fill. So depending on what I want, let's say I don't want that. Let's say I want one that's built into the software. Once again, go back into what's in your software. And usually I have these in subfolders. I just haven't had a chance to move these into subfolders for my brother yet. Patterns, okay. So let's say I want a crackle fill. I can take my offset spacing down to nothing and update my preview. So you can see it's kind of tried to do that, and that's perfectly fine. But what we're going to do is come in here and click the plus sign. So now we can see all of our sewing machines that have tried to fill something in. We can change their color to something else. Let's say we want to do black, and we can change them to a regular fill stitch. And then you can add in some pull compensation so that it goes to the edge. Oops, too far. And that's what you can do. So you have options. You have things that you can play with. You can also, let's say you want to have a sewing machine. Let's say we want to do motifs. So if I come grab I can turn any of my outlines into a motif, but I'm just going to do a circle today. And we'll turn this to not sewn, and I'll put a motif stitch on. I can also do decorative fills, excuse me, not decorative fills. I can do motifs as a fill. But let's say I want my dress form in there. So there's my dress form as an outline that is fun to play with. You could put something in the center if you wanted to. You could do that same little trick that we just did. You can go and let me click off. Actually, I'm bigger than my hoop, so let me go change my hoop size to 200 by 200. Now it will let me do this. So if I want it to go in the center of this, let's say I want a crosshatch fill in there. I can do that, and we can change the size to like 10 and update our preview. And now I've got crosshatch quilting in the center of that. So it really depends on what you want to do. You are the designer, you have control. But that's how that would end up looking, which is kind of fun. You can, those are found the same way. So if I come in here and instead of going into the ones that are in PEDESIGN, now I dropped that one in there just because. But you can go, once again, find the same ones that we were talking about. And it's on my mine are on my D drive, so it just depends on what your computer's set up like. I would go under my motifs, and then let's say I pick the pens. I mean, the pens are one that I thought about leaving out, but I really do like them when they're put around frames. It is, let's change that one and get rid of it, this, and go to a square shape. I think this is a very fun little frame. You can set them further apart. You can put them closer together, but they make a cool frame, especially if you do the rounded one. If you do a rounded rectangle, they fit right in there. So that one, I mean, although on the pens, I will tell you, PEDESIGN automatically starts the run pitch at 5. I would probably shorten that run pitch down so that it doesn't look weird on the points versus the curves. I'd probably take that down to 2 millimeters. And then your stitches would look more consistent. But I think that would make a very cute little label, especially a quilt label. I think that would be a lot of fun to have as a quilt label. So I had fun with them. I hope you guys will as well. Do we have any other questions for me today? Let's see here. If you look for what am I trying to say? Repeating patterns in there, that's where I would check out. And thanks, Patty. I had a lot of fun making these. I will say this is probably one of my favorite collections. And I know somebody didn't like the measuring tapes, but I truly do like them. They are very cool in a fill, but I just think they're one of my favorites. And I think if you come in here and do Sandra's little trick and come in and fill these parts, turn that off. And let's say we want to just leave it. Well, I'm just going to leave it at a crosshatch stripe. It doesn't really matter. And we'll say, okay, but I'm going to change that fill to a regular fill and change the color to yellow. And then change my outline color to black. And look, I mean, guys, that I think is a lot. That one's fun. But I think it would also be fun colored in. Motifs can also be used as fill stitches. So if you, undo. You got to make sure you group it though, because if you don't, you'll get it messed up. But motifs can also be used as fills. Let's Control A and delete that and just draw ourselves a rectangle. It'll work for anything you draw, but we're just going to go with a rectangle right now. I'm not going to sew the outside. And we'll go with a motif stitch this time. Once again, you go pick one up. So let's do the thread spool this time. There's your fill stitch, and it's now a motif. So you can also, on these, you can arrange them differently. So you can offset them, you can mirror them. Mirror's not going to do a whole lot for these. Honestly, those are going to be about the same regardless of which direction you do it, but you can change your offsets, you can change your spacing, you can change your row offset. So if you want your rows to be separated a little bit, you can get them at 50, basically half and half. If you go to 10, I believe it is. So there you go. So now you've got some more creativity available to you. You can say manual curve. So if you want to go in that manual curve thing that we were talking about not long ago, you actually can come in and play with the curve of this. Oops, let's see if it'll let me do it. Which skews it, but it can be kind of fun depending on what you're trying to do. You can also do, let's see here, let's change that back to a manual straight line. You can also do a 2 patterns. So right now I've got pattern 1 only. I can do pattern 1 and 2. So if I want a second row, a different pattern on the second row, I can pick a different pattern. So this gives me some of those creative options that I didn't have before, and I can change my vertical offset of the second row. So it moves it down a little bit. So there you go. And that's the way that works. Okay, guys. And that is one of the bonuses. So I'm going to come back and see if there's any other questions. Kelly, honey, you got a Luminaire, you can use them directly on your Luminaire as well. It just depends. No, Cindy, the fills are not for the higher end machines only. If you don't have PEDESIGN, then yes, it's for a Luminaire and a Luminaire only. But if you have PEDESIGN, it can work on any machine because you create your design in your software, and then you just transfer that embroidery design to your machine. So it's not just for your high-end machines. It gives you some creative capabilities on your software side to be able to use in that machine. Oh, bummer. Yep. So you got to use you got to use the PEDESIGN 11 software to be able to do that. It just adds some creative possibilities. You don't have to. I mean, obviously, you don't have to do this. It's just something that is cool that they added with version 11 and with the Luminaire 3. And I mean, if you have a Luminaire 1, if you get the 3rd upgrade, that gives you these decorative fills. So, I mean, I truly have had a blast playing with these. That was probably the most creative thing that they gave us when we got version 11, besides taking that pain away of doing a background fill. Because as I think I showed that last week, how painful it was, and it really wasn't painful, but it was hard to teach you all how to control what you were selecting and make sure that everything was going to work before you removed overlap. Gemma, I have done many different videos on creating motifs. If you're part of the Education Connection group, Patty has started a list of what the videos have been. Anybody that wants to add to that list, I would appreciate it, but it has a list of what I've done in each of the videos. Since I tend to hop around it, and by the time I finish the video, I forget what I've done. So she's got in the files section, there is a list of videos that I've done for the decorative fills for creating motifs, and I've done quite a few of them. Okay. So you should be able to find that list there. All right, guys, any other questions for me today? If not, I guess I'm going to say goodbye. I will actually see you next week, but the next one I will not be able to. I'll be at my dad's. Yes, it needs to. Well, and I've been slacking too, but I actually have been sometimes better at telling you what's in them after I get done. So today, if I write myself a list, let's see here. We have done, why don't I talk to my tablet and y'all can remind me if I forgot something. So let me open my notes page of my tablet and I'll talk to it right now. Let's see here, microphone. All right, so we did converting or separating an SVG in CanvasWorkspace. We also brought the SVG directly into PEDESIGN. We talked about the new decorative fills, and I gave you a coupon code. I showed you how to use the decorative fills in PEDESIGN 11, both as backgrounds, both as fills, and how to fill in those again. And also how to use your motifs as outlines and as fills. I think that's basically what we've done, and how to locate the default motifs and decorative fills. Okay. So I'll go back in and let me stop my microphone. I'll go back in and put that into the description of today's video. I think that's a recap of what I've done. Have I forgotten anything? Let me see here. Oh, and how to change the size of a background fabric that you took a picture of in Artspira. So those are the things that we've covered today, I do believe. I don't think anything else. All right. Well, I did see that you ordered last night. You got on the bandwagon quick. There is, if you're part of that group, I would suggest that you use the coupon code from that group because they always get access to them first in case I make any mistakes. It seems like last night all I did was make a mistake on the coupon code for one person, and I was able to correct that immediately, which means I'm getting better at this. But they get it first because they're my test subjects, and then I release them to y'all. This usually I give them a week leeway, but this week I went ahead and just sent them out for everybody. I was going to do it last week, but being in a hotel, and boy, howdy, I will tell you, I was in the nastiest hotel ever in New Orleans. Worst Hilton I've ever stayed at. It was a Hilton Garden Inn. It was absolutely disgusting. And you usually don't get that. And I don't normally say that, but I will say that place was gross. I had two different rooms and they were both gross. One was disgusting and the other one was just pretty downright nasty. It didn't reach the disgusting point, but the first one was totally disgusting. Anyhow, I hate to get on public Wi-Fi when I'm on my website because I don't want to compromise anybody's information. When I'm home, I know I'm on secured Wi-Fi, so I tend not to work when I'm away on the website. So, all right. Yes, I checked out early and drove to Baton Rouge and stayed in a hotel in Baton Rouge overnight instead of staying there Saturday night. I was like, this is just, and it was $289 the last night I stayed there. It was crazy. And yes, it is super easy to get hacked on public Wi-Fi. Probably not, Cindy. That one has been BES4 has been discontinued. It is sunsetted. Basically, there's still some copies of it out there, but it is no longer in production, so they will probably not go back and revisit it. PEDESIGN is the only place that you can bring in your PHX files at this time. BES Blue, I believe, lets you do it. Hold on, let me see. But I don't know that I would switch at this point for that. So let me open and let's see what BES Blue does. Where would a PHX file be? You know, I probably don't have one on here. Let me go just to my PC and let's search PHX and see if I have any. It does not appear that I have any on my computer. Let me see here. All designs. BES Blue doesn't either. Now that one might get updated, but it does not have PHX as a format yet either. The deal is that Pulse makes our BES software and Japan makes the rest of our software. Pulse makes our Simply applique, our BES softwares, and our advanced quilt design software, and Japan was not giving them permission to use the PHX format. So that's the difference. You have Blue is still in the package. Well, you did not need BES4 and BES Blue, because BES Blue is the base level of BES4 without the wireless connectivity. I would sell BES Blue. Honestly, if you can sell it to somebody, I would sell BES Blue, because I'm sure it probably came with your luminaire or something. You got it in a package, but you don't need it and BES4. And I would keep the BES4. Yeah, I thought Blue probably came with the luminaire, but it does not read a PHX file at this time. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, then I'm going to say goodbye for today. I will see you next week, and we will send in questions for me so that we can get going on questions. Last time, let me pop up your coupon code for the decorative fills. That is off any collection. So if you, I mean, it's good for the next week, and it's off of any collection that I have up there. So if you don't like the sewing ones, you can pick any of the other ones, but that is your coupon code for this week. Okay. All right. Have a great rest of your week. I thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.